Imagine a lone satellite drifting high above the vast Pacific Ocean, its cameras capturing nothing but endless stretches of calm blue water. To the naked eye, there's no storm, no swirling clouds, no dramatic scenes to capture the world's attention. Yet beneath that serene surface lies something immense and powerful, something that could reshape weather patterns across the entire planet. A massive reservoir of heat, stretching wider than the continental United States, is slowly but relentlessly moving eastward, like an unstoppable freight train gathering momentum deep in the ocean's depths. Scientists track this phenomenon with careful measurements and technical terms, while online communities have given it far more alarming names. By the time you reach the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why 2026 may be remembered as the year the Pacific Ocean finally reached its breaking point. For thousands of years, the tropical Pacific has followed an ancient rhythm, a delicate dance between wind and water that has shaped life on Earth in ways most people never stop to consider. Under normal conditions, steady trade winds blow consistently from east to west, pushing warm surface waters toward the shores of Asia and Australia. In response, cold, nutrient-rich water rises from the depths off the coast of South America, maintaining a beautiful natural balance. This system has been remarkably stable and predictable for millennia. But every few years, this harmony is disrupted when the trade winds suddenly weaken or even reverse. The warm water that had been piled up in the western Pacific begins to slosh back eastward, much like bathwater surging to the other end of a tub when someone shifts their weight. Sea surface temperatures spike dramatically, and weather patterns across the globe are thrown into chaos. This is the phenomenon we call El Niño. This cycle is far from new. Long before humans began burning fossil fuels or measuring temperatures with satellites, coral records and deep ocean sediments tell us this pattern has been repeating for at least 10,000 years. In most cases throughout history, El Niño has been a relatively mild and occasional visitor to our climate story. It comes, it disrupts things for a while, and then it fades away, leaving the ocean to return to its usual rhythm. People have learned to live with these periodic shifts, treating them as natural variations in Earth's complex climate system. However, the event that appears to be building in 2026 feels fundamentally different from anything we've seen before. This time, the visitor isn't arriving quietly. It's not knocking politely at the door. It feels like it's about to kick that door completely off its hinges. Meteorologists don't rely on hunches or dramatic satellite images to predict these events. They watch a specific measurement called the Oceanic Niño Index, or ONI, which tracks how much sea surface temperatures in the central Pacific deviate from their long-term average. When those temperatures remain more than half a degree Celsius above normal for several consecutive months, an El Niño is officially declared. In most years, that's where the story ends, with a mild to moderate warming event that causes some disruption but nothing catastrophic. But 4 times since the 1980s, this index has exploded far beyond moderate levels into territory so extreme that scientists struggle to find the right words to describe it. The years 1982, 1997, and 2015 stand out as legendary in climate records. During those periods, the Pacific didn't simply warm. It convulsed with a power that sent shockwaves through global weather systems, triggering devastating droughts in some regions and catastrophic flooding in others. Right now, in the first half of 2026, the early warning signs are lining up with eerie precision, matching the exact patterns that preceded those previous monster events. Deep beneath the surface, where satellites cannot see, enormous amounts of heat have been accumulating for months, building like pressure in a sealed container. Ocean buoys positioned across the Pacific have been recording these rising subsurface temperatures with growing concern. Then came the critical trigger, sudden bursts of reversed winds that began pushing warm water eastward in powerful pulses, sending waves of heat racing toward the coast of South America. Forecasters who have studied these patterns for decades recognize this exact sequence of events. Every previous time this chain has unfolded, it has led to the same dramatic conclusion, a full-blown extreme El Niño event with global consequences. What makes this particular El Niño especially concerning is not the event itself, but the world it is arriving into. Every major El Niño in the past occurred when the planet's overall temperature baseline was significantly cooler than it is today. This time, we have no such luxury. The Earth has already been recording its hottest years in human history, and it has done so without any assistance from an El Niño. We are not beginning this event from a place of climatic normalcy. Instead, We are starting from a planet that is already running a dangerous fever, and now we are preparing to throw more fuel onto an already raging fire. The global climate system has been steadily accumulating heat for decades, and this supercharged El Niño threatens to push many regions past critical thresholds they might otherwise have been able to withstand. Think of our planet's climate like a bathtub that has been slowly filling with hot water for years. The water level has been rising steadily, getting closer and closer to the rim. A normal El Niño would be like turning the hot tap on a little stronger for a short time. But what we may be facing in 2026 is someone cranking that hot tap wide open for an entire year. The tub was already dangerously full. Now it stands on the verge of overflowing, with potentially devastating consequences for ecosystems and human societies alike. Multiple independent forecasting centers across the United States, Europe, and other regions have been running sophisticated climate models, and they are all reaching the same unsettling conclusion. This event carries a significant probability of pushing sea surface temperatures into what scientists classify as extreme territory later this year. A level of warming so rare, it has only occurred a handful of times in the past 4 decades. When a super El Niño fully takes hold, it doesn't just change ocean temperatures. It completely rewires the sky itself, altering rainfall patterns across vast regions of the planet. Areas that typically experience dry conditions may suddenly find themselves drowning under relentless downpours, while regions that depend on regular rainfall can be left parched and struggling. In the southwestern United States, powerful atmospheric rivers could bring extreme amounts of moisture, dumping an entire season's worth of rain in just a few days and triggering dangerous flash floods and landslides. On the opposite side of the Pacific, Australia may face the opposite extreme, with significantly below-average rainfall adding more stress to agricultural communities still recovering from previous climate disasters. These dramatic shifts in precipitation don't just affect local weather. They can disrupt the monsoon systems that hundreds of millions of people across Asia depend upon for growing essential crops like rice, soybeans, and cotton. The impacts extend far beyond weather patterns and agriculture. A severely stressed Amazon rainforest, already suffering from heat and drought, may shift from being one of Earth's most important carbon sinks to actually releasing stored carbon back into the atmosphere, creating a dangerous feedback loop. Hurricane seasons could be dramatically altered in both ocean basins.